welcome back to a new season of The Story of. And here we are. I don't even want to mispronounce it. I meant to ask before we did it. You already know what I'm about to ask. That's why you're smiling. The last name. But Blake here. Blake.
Francois.
Francois. It's funny because my last name is Bowie and it's French, but I don't speak a damn lick of French. That sounds French as hell. Is it French?
It is definitely French. I'm originally from Louisiana, so we definitely have a French Creole heritage going on there.
Well, welcome to The Story of.
And I do speak a little French.
Oh, well, all I know is oui. That's it. Is Bali Boule Sechab? No, I'm just going to stick with that's all I know. Here we are also on the new season, The Story of. I have my co-host, Petra. Petra, how are you doing today?
I am doing amazing. I'm excited to just get this first episode in. Like, I want to know what it give. I want it to give, so I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's jump right into it. Go ahead and do our intro our guests, and let's jump right into the first episode.
So, Blake, we just want to make sure it's okay to use your face and your voice for this amazing episode you're about to do.
Why, but of course, darling.
Not even just the episode, the whole season.
Oh, yeah, the whole season. That is correct, for the whole season. That is
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so I'll jump right into it with that question of asking where you came from. Where are you born from? Your family? Did you have both parents in your life? Brothers, sisters? Let's learn a little bit about your start, your consummation, and therefore other.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so as I just mentioned, I'm from Louisiana, but specifically I'm from a small town called St. Martinville. It's a real rural town. I grew up in a single mother household with an absent father. My father, he made, spotted appearances between the age of 10 and 13, and then he disappeared again. I have three other siblings.
You said that he made spotted appearances, so up until 10, you didn't see?
Correct. So prior to 10, we had no relationship, and then between 10 and 13, he would make these, appearances once every 6 months. Child support check always cleared though, so. Mine was great.
That's all that matters, right?
And I have three other siblings. I have an older sister she's 15 months older than me. She's born April 10th and I'm born June 10th. It's none of your business what year it was. And then I have a younger brother and a younger sister. So total it's 4 of us, 2 boys and 2 girls. And we go girl boy. I had a spectacular stepfather, and I did mention me having an absent father, but I had a spectacular stepfather, and I still do. And I should just drop the step, but to give it context, I do want that to be clear.
You said girl, boy.
Mm-hmm.
How many of your siblings were your father's biological children outside of you?
Oh, that's a good question. So the only my older sister. So me and my older sister have the same father. We have the same biological father.
And then your youngest of the other girl boy is your stepfather's children?
No, it's my mother's previous husband. Whose last name is Jackson and her new husband is also Jackson. They don't have any relation.
Oh, okay. Call me Miss Jackson if you know. So
sorry, Miss Jackson.
Woo-hoo.
And I guess she was.
Okay. You said you had a stepfather, so you said that was her previous. Now, is the stepfather the previous husband, or is the stepfather the current husband?
Her current husband. So she married my stepfather. Well, her and him started dating when I was. Well, let me not tell you how old I was. Give it away. But it has been 26 years ago. So they've been together for 26 years. But they've been married for 17.
Okay.
So they were together for 26, married for 17. Yeah.
And they don't have any children together?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So your real father came into your life more actively at the age of 12. Your stepfather is still currently inside of your life. I'm assuming even after 10, your biological father is also still part of your life?
No.
Okay, well then we'll get to that part of the story.
Yeah, no, and again, remember I said from 10 to 13.
Oh, okay.
That's not as long as we think it may be. And then you said he only came around like
Well,
Oh
scouting
yeah, it
and
was like
stuff.
1 to 6 months.
someone was hiding their age anyway, so hypothetically, someone could be 13. Anyway, so moving
Someone could
forward.
be. I appreciate it. I'll take it.
So moving forward on that, what kind of kid were you? Were you a good kid? Were you a bad kid? Just in general, and then we'll move towards school.
I think I was pretty much a good kid. My older sister was, it is. She was the bad kid. So I was always her voice of reason. However, as a kid, I always kind of sort of knew that, that I was unique and I was different from my siblings and then also from, my friends and I've always, like, one of the things about me is I've always had a very, very soft voice. And so I would always get ridiculed for having that soft voice, and people would assume that I was gay. Little did they know, I guess they were kind of sort of right, but at that time I was only a kid. I didn't know what any of those things were, and that was,
Right.
the least of my mind, the least of my worries. So I was ridiculed for that, and I think because of being ridiculed and ostracized by my peers, I kind of sort of became a loner. And in becoming a loner, I marched to the beat of my own drum. I didn't follow the pack, which was a good thing because, a lot of them are in jail or dead or selling drugs or on drugs.
Mm.
So look at God, won't he do it? But as a kid,
Yes, he
because
will.
yeah, I never really understood my own personal assignment. I would always pray to God and be like, God, please make me just like them.
Ooh,
I wanna be like those kids.
I had that
Um,
same one.
So you were a religious person?
Yes, I'm still am, but as a kid, my mother made sure we went to church every Sunday. Uh, it was not an option.
What's the
So
religion?
we were Catholic,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I use word in the past tense because as when I got to adulthood, I decided to denounce my Catholic religion. When I
Okay.
started knowing God for myself and reading the Bible for myself, I didn't some of the things that the Catholic Church taught me didn't line up with what I read. And so in that, as I started to educate myself and to know God for myself and to develop that personal relationship, I went ahead and said, oh, you know what? I don't think I can be Catholic anymore. So, but that wasn't until I got to college, and of course, my mother thought I was joining a cult. So it was cause for concern, like, how dare you? And I'm like, when I would go home on the weekends or during the summer, I'm like, I refuse to go to church on Sunday with you because I just can't do it.
So they all still remain Catholic.
Uh, I don't think so. I think my mother's probably more Baptist now, but she probably won't. She hasn't been baptized Baptist. She didn't have there was no conversion, but her husband, my stepfather, is Baptist, and they go to a Baptist church on Sunday as opposed to the Catholic church that we used to go to.
But she never denounced Catholic.
Yeah, no, if you take her to a Catholic church, she'll still go today, and I'm sure. Yeah, she has no qualms about not going.
Okay. And what about school? Like, what kind of kid were you in school? A smart kid, bad kid, good kid? I skipped over dumb kid because I hate to say dumb, but for me, I felt pretty dumb when I was inside of junior high. But I went to a school where it felt like college, University of Detroit Jesuit Academy in high school, at a young age. So, what kind of kid were you overall?
Overall, I would think that I've always been fairly smart as a kid. I did graduate top of my high school class. Earlier you asked about my father and how he got to disappearing. So the reason why I can remember that it was 13 is because it was my 8th grade graduation that I invited him to. And I wanted to share that experience with him because I was graduating, whatever number I was going to be on honors, and I had received all these awards, and I wanted him to be there to witness
I'm
my
guessing he
greatness.
show up.
And he was invited. He promised that he was coming, and he never showed up. And so from that moment forward, I cut ties with
Mm.
him.
So let's go back a little bit. Your siblings. What is your relationship with your older sibling, your older sister,
Yeah.
and then the other boy girl set?
So my older sister, her name is Crystal. She
Okay.
is, she's an Aries, as I said, April 10th. So she's an Aries. She's one of my best friends. So and because we're so close in age, we went to school together.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, I was bullied as a kid, but she was a pistol. So one of the great things about having an older sister is she beat up the bullies.
She don't play about her little brother. Don't play with her.
Yeah, yeah. So we were a package deal. You mess with one, you mess with both. Even if it was a girl that was bullying her, if the girl's bigger than her, then it's like, oh, I got her. So yeah, so we have a great relationship. I actually just celebrated her. I'm not gonna tell you which age, but it was a milestone. It was a milestone birthday.
I'm starting to feel like you're in the witness protection program, but keep going.
A little bit. A little bit.
And I am. So we celebrated her milestone birthday together in Miami earlier this month.
Okay.
The next one is my little sister. She's 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
She also celebrated my sister's birthday in Miami earlier this month. And this was her first time flying. And just know that she is of a certain particular age where this should not be her first flight. But yeah, she has never been, this is the contrast between us, she's never been out of Louisiana, per se. She's never gone further than a car could take her.
Okay, so now I'm curious because I want to take a poll amongst everybody now, just because you said that. Well, starting with you, Blake, when was the first time you took your first flight?
It would have been 17, 20 years ago, or it's a very long time.
Well, I was gonna say, what age were you?
Oh, I know. Hey, pivoted. But every year for my birthday, I travel to a different city. And that has been the case for the last 20 years. And I always go to a city that I've never been before. It started off, my first one was San Francisco. And then it's like this one, I'm having a birthday this year. This year I just was planning it earlier today. London, Marrakesh, Casablanca, Cairo, Egypt, and Rome.
Oh, okay, Bill Gates.
Yeah, to go back to the sister, it's a stark contrast in someone such as myself who's well traveled to a sister who's never traveled. She's never traveled.
Is that her choice, or is it a financial situation? Is it just
I think it's a combination of different things, and it's just a small town minded kind of thing. It's just no one gets out of that little town that we grew up in, and you just kind of sort of stay there, start a family, have kids, sit inside your little box, and don't explore the world. So of course, when she gets on the plane, she's completely frightened, because this is her first flight, and she flew Spirit.
Oh God!
Oh. Why would she do that on her first one?
Because I bought a ticket.
Oh, okay. Petra looked like she threw up in her mouth when you said Spirit.
Baby, I flew Spirit one time, and baby, when I say I'm not even that tall, and my knees is in my chest, I am 5'3". There's no way.
So
I am 5'3", and my knees is in my chest. Baby, that was the first and the last.
And my God, listen. So fun fact is, my first Spirit flight, which would have been 12 years ago. It was before Spirit was a thing. Before everybody knew who they were, they tried to put me off of the plane. Fast forward, my sister's first Spirit flight recently, they actually put her off of the plane.
What'd she do?
And she's now on the no-fly Spirit list, which is a good list to be on.
Yeah, it ain't a bad list. Yeah, they use mine.
What'd she do to get put on that kind of list?
We're from Louisiana, and I don't know what mask wearing is like in Michigan, but in California, it's wear your mask. So anywhere I go, I wear a mask. But she's from Louisiana; it's a little more lax about the whole mask thing.
It is.
On an airplane, it's not as lax. So on an airplane, it's not like, oh, you get a little leeway with the mask. No, wear your mask. And again, she's never been to another place outside of Louisiana where the mask laws are coming.
Oh, baby, that's traumatizing.
They told her to but that's her fault. They told her to put on the mask 3 times, and she probably cussed the stewardess out. And the stewardess was like, "Oh, okay, you want to cuss me out? Get off the plane."
'Cause they already rough around the edges. The stewardess on Spirit,
I,
so
you know, I hear so many bad stories about them, and I don't even want to make it about them. But I'm just saying, I went on their plane one time, and I don't remember a bad experience with them. This was long ago. That's why I wanted to take. That's why I wanted to take a poll. The first time I went on the plane was in 7th grade, and the time that I went on Spirit had to have been when I was in college.
okay.
So
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to reveal that because we're not revealing my age. But go ahead.
No, so my Spirit flight was, it wasn't their fault, but it was kind of sort of. I mean, I feel like their customer service lacked. Well, back it up. So to give my sisters some kind of way context, it wasn't just about the dance. So their flight left at 5 a.m. And when they got to the airport at 5 a.m., they canceled all of their flights, 3 whole planes. They were like, "Oh yeah, all those flights are canceled." And the next flight from 5 a.m. is not leaving until 10 p.m. But we'll give you a hotel for the time being and a food voucher. Go over there. But they didn't like freely offer that. You have to get in line. You have to beg somebody to give you something. Da 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 da. So by the time she gets on the plane and she's seated, she's frustrated.
Oh yeah, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, and then so when she blows up on the stewardess as opposed to wait till you get home, baby. She didn't understand the repercussions, and none of us knew that she had gotten kicked off her flight until we all landed.
Oh.
Yeah, and they were in Louisiana. I was in Los Angeles, so when I land, and my text messages come on. Oh, it's like I got put off the flight. I'm stuck in Florida. Has never been outside of Louisiana.
This sounds like the African American version of Kevin McAllister in Home Alone.
Yes.
The adult version.
She was panicked, and my mother was devastated. So that's my little sister. We have a great relationship. It probably could be better. I also have a little brother.
Why do you say that? Why do you say it probably could be better?
Well, we're not in contact as much as, as I'm not going to say as much as I would like to. We are in contact as much as I would like to be, but, and as far as like sisters and brothers go, there could be more contact.
Okay.
And my little brother, I speak to him kind of sort of frequently.
Kind of sort of frequently. What does that mean?
More frequently than my little sister.
Okay.
Yeah, I speak to him frequently, but he's no longer my little brother. He's now like my big little brother because he's like 6'3".
Okay. And so, does the big little brother still live in your small? Oh, okay.
He lives in so the only one that still lives in Louisiana is, besides my mother and my stepdad, is my little sister.
Okay.
My older sister lives in Austin, Texas, and my little brother lives in Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay. So they get out.
How much younger is your little sister than you?
3 years.
Okay. What I'm doing is getting information so that when everybody sees this episode, they can start figuring out the math. Because we're going to figure out how old you is. You can bank on that.
I'm sure in a second I'm probably going to slip with a year somewhere. You'll be able to calculate.
Oh, you bet your ass. I'm like Nancy Drew in this bitch. I will definitely put it together.
But Fawn's cartel, trust me, I am not slipping.
Petra, just to cut you out, maybe second episode, let's do a drinking episode with the 3 of us. You know you want to. Don't even lie. So
Blake, you went to school, right? And now, did you go to the same elementary school all the way until you went to the next middle school, or
yeah.
did y'all?
So my little small town, we have St. Martinville. So I'm from St. Martinville. It's St. Martinville Primary, St. Martinville Elementary, St. Martinville Junior High, and St. Martinville Senior High.
Goddamn, they got one of everything?
We have one of everything, and we have 2 stoplights. My graduating class is probably like 160 people.
Wait. 2 stoplights in the entire town?
Uno, dos. Duh. French.
Get the fuck out of here. Oui.
That's crazy.
Well, actually, you had more students in your, what would you say, 160 in high school?
160 in my graduating class. It was probably like 800 or 900 total.
In your high school.
I had 150 people in my entire high school, 9 through 12. Yeah. I'm just putting that out there. I had 39 in my graduating class. But go ahead. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, top that.
I know, I can't. I can't. You win.
I mean, no, he wins on 2 stoplights because we damn sure had more than 2 stoplights in that bad boy. So.
Okay, so you said that when you were in elementary or primary school, you named only a few of them. So when you were in elementary school, you did get bullied, correct?
I did. So in the bullying, was like it was just because I was different. So got bullied, got picked on. Thank God for my sister. But however, it caused some insecurities and trauma within my childhood.
So you took the words out of my mouth? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yep.
Literally took the words out of my mouth. So that affected you.
It seeped into adulthood. But I'm a very intuitive person, so I'm one of those people who believes in like self-reflection. And if I have a feeling about something, and I know I can always tell when what I'm feeling, there's more to it. So it'll cause me to like unpack my feelings and figure out, well, where did that come from?
Okay.
I always want to ask myself, well, why am I responding to this person this way? And then I'll realize part of the reason that I'm responding. For example, I said that I've always had like a very soft voice, which caused me to I would go into public spaces and refuse to speak. And so then I became very introverted and very like a recluse. And it wasn't until I left that little small town and I found peace within myself and not for anybody else. I just started to love me and be me and not be who I thought somebody else wanted me to be, that I realized that I was perfectly fine. It was them who had the problem, and their problem just was with me.
There was something,
and that was not my baggage.
There was something interesting that you said when you were talking about bullies and then becoming one, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that many people, if not everybody, has been bullied in some sort of way when they were younger. Yeah. I was bullied, and quite honestly, I became a bully at some point because I thought that was my defense mechanism. Maybe if I become like one of them, then I'm no longer the person that's picked on. So for you being...
Oh my God, I never said I became a bully.
So, well, that's actually my question is how did that affect you? Did you ever get to that point where you let it cause you to be that way to anybody else?
No. Because, and you're right, and I do get exactly what you're saying, but my takeaway from it was because I hated being treated that way, I never wanted to treat anybody else that way. Because I know what it feels like to be on the receiving end. And that's just not even with bullying. That's with like discrimination. And I'm guessing we'll get to my passion for certain things later. But because of the way that people have treated me, it has like put a fire inside of me to protect other people who are similarly situated.
And is that why? Sorry, I just want to know, is that why you said that it's carried over to your adulthood? In terms of the effects that bullying had on you?
Yes, or I would say the trauma has come up in my adult life. But when I say that it comes up, it doesn't come up in... before it gets a chance to rear its ugly head, when I feel it coming, like if I feel something, anger inside of me, I process it before I let it go.
You tame it before it erupts. And yeah, I get that.
So I always analyze, and I'm an analytical, not a creative, but I always analyze consequences before I act. So I'm slow to act or react to something because I'm processing. However, my sister is completely the opposite of my older sister. She's like the complete opposite. She's if you poke the bear pokes back. Mm-hmm. And I'm more of like, well, if you poke me, well, how can we resolve this peacefully? Let me buy you a cocktail. Because I know you can't really have a problem with me because you don't even know me.
Okay, so when you would get bullied, did you tell your parents?
Yeah. So
how did they react?
So my mother used to, like, if I have older cousins. So my sister and I are close in age. So if the bully was like, a big person, my mother would go and she would give somebody $20 to whip their ass. Yeah, she'd be like, oh, You want to pick on my baby? Oh, I got somebody for you. He too little to fight you. I've always been a little guy as well.
She worse than Tyson.
Yeah, she's like, oh, no. Fight somebody your own size.
So Tyson is my mama. So she worse than Tyson. Because my mama going to fight him. But your mama going to pay somebody to fight him, baby.
And she will give you $20 and say, knock on the door, and when he opens it, you got to whip his ass. If you don't whip his, I'm going to whip yours. Yeah. And then my sister would also get bullied. I don't know why she would get bullied, but also, because she's fairly small in stature, and I think, bullies tend to be
The little one?
No, my older sister. Yeah, my older. Okay. Yeah, she would get bullied as well, and, she would be bullied by girls for whatever reason. And, they would often come to my house and, try to fight her. My mother would say, hey, get out in the middle of the yard. Y'all sit in the yard. And Crystal, my older sister, Crystal, and if you don't beat her, I'm going to beat you.
That's the old folks statement.
And when the police whoop that ass. Right by, she said, mind your damn business. They in my yard. This is my private property. Keep on going. I got it. But that's small town.
And then you ever go to Catholic church on Sunday, right?
We fighting and tussling on Saturday and praising God.
Won't he do it?
You going like this?
We were doing two types of laying of the hands. Hands had to be laid.
Okay, in one way or another.
Well,
now, did you live in the same house for like? I guess until you left.
17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved out at 17. Yeah.
Okay. So we have. Now, have you ever ran into any of those bullies?
Yeah, at my high school class reunion.
How was that? Because to be honest, bullying comes from immaturity.
Yeah, it does.
So, I say that because, like I told you, I used to be a bully, and I came across one of the people that I bullied. She would not look at me or give me the time of day. Wow. But I was way more mature when I came across her. The thing is, even 10 more years later, now I'm giving my age. Yeah. But 10 more years later, I had a reunion for the elementary school people, and she came. And I apologized, and we were close as friends. So, like I said, it comes with immaturity. So for you, when you came across your bullies, how did that pan out?
No, it's like what you said. I honestly, even to this day, I don't believe they understood what they were doing to me bullying. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that they, like, even if we sat down and have a conversation about it, they probably thought they were being funny. They were just being a class clown. So nothing happens because I give them grace and I understand that wasn't them. And that's a learned behavior. So I don't think that whatever.
But did they recognize that though? Did they say something like, "Man, I was," no?
No, yeah. I don't even think they realized that what they were doing was bullying. I don't even think they realized the impact they had on my childhood or adult life.
Then to me, that feels like they didn't grow up, because when you grow up,
I was about to say the same thing. So they didn't learn Nathan. They didn't learn Nathan.
Because,
however, oh my God, today, but God. I will say that I am still grateful for that experience, because whatever the experience was, it made me and who I am today. Yeah, and I can't imagine who I would be without that experience. And maybe I wouldn't, be a champion for the underdog.
That same sentence that you said, I apply that in a different way when I talk to people about trying to become successful. I say you cannot become successful without first having experienced failure. So. Yeah. It's the same concept, and I'm grateful for every negative thing that happens, because it only made me stronger.
Mm-hmm. And you take the good with the bad, and it's all about life's lessons. And you can never learn and grow if you do not experience failure.
Can I back up for a second to your junior high? You were talking about all your accolades and awards and things that you got when your father didn't come to that graduation. What were some of those accolades and awards, the things that you had achieved and got that you were proud of, that you wanted him to be there for?
Ooh, Mike, now you're trying to get me to tell my age. Now you know I don't remember that far
back. I told you I'm a Nancy Drew this shit.
But I will say, I graduated at the top of the class. I believe I got a scholarship, but I don't know what the scholarship would have been for.
Yeah, what year was that?
Junior high, but Yeah, it was a scholarship, and this is, I was graduating. You said what?
I said, what year was that?
He said, "What year was that?" He tried to slide that in.
He don't know. We're going to discuss those
Mm,
things.
mm.
I'm not a numbers guy.
Period. Well, you said you analytic, so
I don't like numbers.
unless it's in a check. So yeah.
Amen. Amen. But yeah, so undergrad. In junior high, I know I graduated with honors, graduated top of my class. I've always been a fairly smart, intelligent individual, both, book smart, street smart, and then emotionally intelligent, which is probably my favorite of all of the intelligence, is being able to be emotionally intelligent, understanding what emotions are, where do they come from, why people act the way they do. And when you can understand that, you can give that person grace. Because I can't go to somebody asking them for oranges and all they have is lemons.
Come on.
She said, "Come on."
You can't give me.
Baby, that's a word. That's a word. That's it.
Praise God. But the reason that, I lean on that word is because my mother lost her mother at 14. So my mother never had a mother as an adult. So my mother,
at 14 age is such a tender age.
Oh, yeah.
For a female, you need, not saying you don't need your daddy, but you need your mama during that time.
And her dad, once, her mom died in a car accident. Her mom died in a car accident. My grandfather just flew the coop. And my mother is one of 16. So the kids.
16 what?
Baby, back in the day they used to have kids.
Not a child, but kids.
Sure. Yes, it was 8 boys and 8 girls.
So you're.
Let's get it on.
Just to make sure I heard verbatim,
Yes.
because I do verbatim. You're telling me that you have.
A large
You had 7 aunties, or
7 aunties.
seven aunties and 8 uncles.
Correct. And so you can imagine how many cousins I have. So picture how when I got bullied, it didn't end well for the bullies.
Hey, baby.
And my mother's the baby, so my cousins are much older than me. But yeah, so when
With all them family members, was your whole town just your family, or?
no, that's a good question. My mother is from Texas.
Oh, okay.
She's from Port Arthur, so a lot of back to what I was saying is when her mom died, all the kids separated. They were all placed in different places. They all went to live with different family members. So she didn't get reunited with her sisters or her brothers until her late 20s. Yeah. So and then she also never had a mother. So when my mother and my sister, when they don't see eye to eye, or my mother is trying to parent an adult child, I have to remind my sisters that, hey, you know what? She never had a mother as an adult. She doesn't have an example or a blueprint of what it looks like to be a mom to someone who's 30 or to anyone over 14. So the minute you turn 16, this was new territory. It's uncharted water. You have to give her grace for that. Because right now you're asking her to give you something that she never received. She doesn't have it.
So I got a few questions. With your mom, you said that at 14, your grandmother passed. Who did she, and all the other siblings that went to other families? Who did she go to? Because you said Papa flew the coop.
We weren't reintroduced to him until he was in a nursing home.
Oh.
And he died maybe 3 or 5 years later.
Okay, so who took your mom in?
She stayed with her great aunt. So one of her great aunts. So it was her, and then maybe 2 other sisters, and then some other people went because again it's 16 of them. So if you can imagine, it's at least a 16-year difference between the oldest and the youngest.
So when your family split though, with your mom and your sisters and everything, there was no phone calls. Were phones prevalent back then, or right?
There wasn't no phones back then.
Okay.
My mother doesn't even remember, or she doesn't necessarily.
So no phones back then.
She had me at a very old age.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were definitely phones back then. Thank you, Petra. But no, they grew up poor, so they didn't have a way to communicate. There was no internet.
That makes sense.
No internet.
Mm.
Well, internet didn't come around until you know I was of age.
So,
Oh.
so then, okay, so that aunt, that great aunt didn't step in and try to help mother
I'm
your.
sure she did. Yeah, I'm sure she did. Yeah, because she took care of my mother. So I'm sure she mothered her, but it's probably different from what it looked like to be a mother to a mother to a daughter. It
Okay,
was an aunt to a niece.
okay, okay. No, yeah, I get that.
And then
I
and then
get
at
that. Okay,
14, she was probably gone in another 3 years. She was probably like, oh yeah, well, I guess I got to get on my own, or
In your older
okay.
age, that you're at, or younger age, I'm sorry, ooh, oh, I just meant like older than what you were growing up. And then as soon as I said it, I
Trying to
said,
mute
Lord,
myself.
um,
Trying to mute myself.
as you got older, whew, bit that bullet. As you got older, did you, as being this family person, did you guys have family gatherings, family
Oh
reunions?
yeah. Um, we've had a lot of we've had maybe okay. So let me not say we've had a lot of family reunions. We probably had in my lifetime three, but in lieu of family reunions, every Sunday we got together and we had a crawfish boil, pig feet boil, and we played baseball. So every
Now,
Sunday,
this is your your mama and her children, or your
and my
parents
aunts
and
and
their children,
uncles.
and your aunts and uncles. Okay, I
And
just
even
you know who.
the ones who live locally, because some of them, after Texas, some of them were in the military, so they moved all over the place. But a few of them were in Louisiana. So I do have one aunt, two, three, four. I probably had like three or four aunts that lived in Louisiana close by, and then one uncle
Okay,
that lived in Louisiana.
and that's where those cousins came that your mom would pay
Uh-huh.
people like
Well,
got it,
some of them she would bust in from Texas.
uh, to kick people ass on
Yeah.
top of the $20.
Uh-huh.
Well, she fitting the bill.
Committed.
Okay.
I'll
She
take
was
Okay,
committed.
so you did have a good relationship with your for the most part with your siblings,
Yes.
and then you got your cousins. All that was good. Now you get to middle school and to high school. Well, specifically middle school because that's when you really start noticing people, your attraction to people. How did that go for you? How was that for you?
Yeah. So, um, oh yeah, and it was definitely around middle school that I probably realized that my attraction to or my body would react differently to men versus women.
Okay.
And it wasn't like something by choice. It was just I'm like um yeah. So that was very very hard because I grew up in a very religious household where being gay was a sin. I was going to hell. So of course, again, I'm praying the gay away like I'm supposed to do, like I've been taught. Um, but instead of actually probably helping me mentally, it eventually did. But in that moment, instead of helping me mentally, it only caused dark thoughts to seep into my psyche. However, one of the great things about being so religious is that those dark thoughts never became actions.
Okay.
It was just like, why am I not like everybody else? I don't want to live like this, etc., etc. This is not the will of God. Take me now, kind of sort of thing. And it wasn't until jumping ahead until
Which
those
year?
thoughts went through from middle school to high school.
I think that's what he's gonna ask. How long those dark thoughts?
Oh
Like
yeah,
years.
it went from middle school to high school. Here you go. I'll give you an age, and get your pen and paper. It wasn't until I was probably 21 that I realized that there was nothing wrong with me. That was also when I started to develop a relationship with God for myself. And the way that relationship came about is I had a really good friend in undergrad. I went to LSU for undergrad. Got a bachelor's in information systems and decision sciences with a concentration in internal auditing. Yeah, I know. So I met a really, really good friend, and he was Seventh Day Adventist. And one of the great things about Seventh Day Adventists is they read the Bible for themselves.
Okay, back up. I told you I'm dumb, so I don't. Whatever you just said, Adventist.
7-day Adventist.
Okay, so there are probably viewers that don't know what that is, like me. So,
Okay.
what is that?
Seventh-day Adventist, it's a religion and it's Christian. It's like Baptist, but it's Christianity. If you could imagine Christianity meeting Judaism.
Or Muslim too, right?
Yeah, because they worship on the one key difference is they still worship on the Sabbath.
Is this a created religion, or are there actual churches that?
Yeah, no,
churches.
Churches, black
they don't
churches.
celebrate holidays. They celebrate.
Yeah.
They do this. The one I know a girl I went to school. She didn't celebrate any holidays, no Christmas, no none of that. On a Friday when the sun go down. To Sunday to Saturday to when the sun go down was their Sabbath. So when Friday the sun go down, nothing happens. Ain't no
nothing. You do not work. You do not move. You do not buy anything. You don't go shopping.
Cook,
yeah,
none of that.
Are many Amish people of this religion?
No, it's no. I would say
black.
Look, I can't even say what he said. Okay, so let alone anything else.
But look, the seventh day.
Yeah, 7.
So they worship on the seventh day because the seventh day is the Sabbath.
Yeah.
So they still believe in keeping the Sabbath day holy, and they believe that the Sabbath day is the seventh day, which is sunset Friday to sunset Saturday. And their argument behind it, which is factual, but is that the Jewish calendar that from back in the day is still the same calendar we follow today. So the seventh day is still the Sabbath. So they follow that commandment to the letter. They also follow other parts of the Bible to the letter. So they're very, very biblically minded.
Okay.
Because of that, they read the Bible from like age 5 on up. Or as from the moment they can read. It's all about worship and read the Bible. And so I would go to church with him on the Sabbath. He was, one of my best friends. And there was a little guy there, and he was like 5 years old, and we were playing like Bible hangman because it was the Sabbath. And so you can't do anything that's not of worship for God on the Sabbath. So we were at church, in the evening playing Bible hangman, and this little 5-year-old knew more about the Bible than me. And it wasn't you go to church every Sunday and you hear pastor talk about these books, but until you sit down and you read all 66 of them, you don't really get into the nuances of the Bible like that little 5-year-old did. And I said, I'm like, this is kind of sort of pretty embarrassing. You've been going to church every Sunday for 21 years, and this little kid who's only been on this earth 5 outsmart. That's ridiculous. Pick up the Bible, read it for yourself. And before I would read it, I would pray to God and say, reveal your word to me in your spirit. May I take this up, hide it in my heart, using my sword and my shield. And I would get in and I read it cover to cover.
Well, we are narrowing down to the end, and I want to ask my final question. Petra, did you have any other questions?
I did, but I wanted to. No, I'm good.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask my question before we get up out of here. I just want to know, because I was thinking about in people's lives, where they're at during certain big events. And so, like, when September 11th happened, where were you? Like, what grade? Like, were you in college then?
Definitely in school.
Okay, what grade or anything? Like, were you?
Oh, I don't even remember. That was so long ago.
You sure? You don't remember?
Yeah, what year was that?
2001. September 11th, 2000. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Were you in like were you in like high school, or were you like a junior in college?
I just want to fight.
Don't have your mama pay nobody to beat us up, all right? We just trying to find out the facts.
You know what? I'm gonna have to call my mama. My mama got $20.
But on a serious note, before we get out of here, let me ask this question: at what point did you come out?
You gotta tell us now. That's meat and potatoes.
No. Come out to who? So to my mom. Spoiler alert: did not come out to her yet.
Like today? To this day? You mean like right now she don't know?
Colin.
What if she watches the story of?
Yeah, Mike.
How does she not know? You don't talk to her?
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I know we got one minute. I just want to make sure I heard you verbatim. You know, I'm on a, hearing thoroughly. It's 2022. You got to make sure you hear thoroughly. He said, so when did you come out? Blake says, well, to my mother, I never had. Is that correct?
See? So,
that's Spanish, right? Okay, yeah.
So my sister, I came out to her, my older sister. I came out to her. It was a really great coming out story, but I came out to her in 2009.
Oh, how old were you then?
Ooh, I almost gave something away. So I came out to her in 2009 because she'd asked me, I don't know, she'd asked me something, and my thing is, if you ask a question, I'm grown enough now to be able to answer honestly and truthfully.
Right.
Back then, I was, a little insecure about it. I didn't know what was going on. So she asked me. I told her, yes, and she apologized to me, and she was like, I'm so sorry, because all these years when you were being bullied, full circle here, when you were being bullied about being gay, instead of taking up for you, I fought those bullies, which kind of probably gave you a picture in your mind that I didn't approve. As opposed to just coming up and taking up for you and standing with you and saying, yes, that's my brother and he's gay. So what? But I fought him, and that might have given you the idea that I didn't approve or I didn't accept you and I didn't love you. And I want you to know that's not the case. So that was beautiful.
I'm just going to say that every time you talk, more questions come to my mind. So this is for sure the last fucking question before we get up out of here. What is the reason why you have not told her?
Blake, don't answer that.
To this day.
Don't answer.
My mother?
Yeah. Is she the only one I know that don't know yet?
So I actually just told my younger sister in April.
Yeah. Skip past that. Why haven't you told your mama?
And you said don't answer though, right, Patrick?
No,
I mean, go ahead.
In all honesty, I don't think she'll be accepting. I think it's going to hurt her heart. So my gift to her is, I'm, in my mind, I'm her perfect child. And so I don't want to stain that reputation and her think like, oh crap, I did something wrong. So if she ever asks me, I'll tell her.
I got so many.
Petra, this season the story is about to be 4 episodes instead of 3.
Because at this point, when a person say at this point, I don't up, down, left.
Well, there it is, everyone. We're going to end on this note, and we're going to come back, because Petra and I, we're going to have a drink and calm down, and just process a lot of the things, and figure out what our 78 questions are going to be for the next episode. Blake, thank you for being here.
Did you say 7 or 8 or 78?
Huh?
I also like verbatim.
You said you were born in 78? Is that what you said?
78.
Oh, okay. All right, well. There it is. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell. Do all that jazz. Let us know inside the comments what you think about the episode. If you ever want to be a guest on the story of, hit us up inside the comments and we'll try and get you on. Blake, thanks for being here. Petra, thanks for being a co-host here on the show. And to everybody watching, we will see you guys next week.
Bye.